Hi there. Um, Good afternoon. So this particular session, I just want to uh, dedicate it to a special question, which a lot of times was asked to me while I used to work in corporates, and also while I have been an entrepreneur. And I have, been in training sessions and coached leaders, and also been in the consulting space. So the question that most of the times I was asked is, how do we ensure that our teams follow us? And well, it's a very interesting question. But the whole dynamics of this question is that the answer is actually within us. We know how it should be done, and it comes by nature. Really, I mean, by nature we know what it has to be. But at the same time, sometimes we get a little lost in the the run of the race and the run of the achieving goals. We sometimes lose track of what is it that we can really do to achieve this kind of a team, right? So I wanted to kind of take this time with you to share with you what are the basic principles which can help you to become such a leader where your teams follow you and listen to you, they don't question you, in your decisions, they kind of respect everything that you are saying and doing. So let me just share with you, of course, a few leaders that we all know. When you look at Mahatma Gandhi, or when you look at Nelson Mandela, or when you look at Subhash Chandra Bose, or you look at Mother Teresa, or you look at Ratan Tata, such leaders are icons today. And when I speak such names, what comes to our mind about a true leader, right? Actually, that is the answer to your questions. So that is a kind of a leader who doesn't need to have their teams to follow them. The team follows them by themselves, right? And that is exactly what I wanted to always, explain my clients, that when you are asking this question, how to ensure my teams will follow me, the answer is with you already, which is that, see, basically, when you look at any of these leaders, what is common among them, right? When we say Mahatma Gandhi, or when we say Nelson Mandela, or we talk about big leaders, Abraham Lincoln, any of these big leaders, right? What is common about them? So there are a few characteristics, right, which if you think a little bit about it, we'll get to know, right? And before I go, I want to also share with you, another case study which I observed last year. It was, I think, around the same time in the summer of 2020. I'm not so much into politics, but this is something just became quite a big hype. So one was drawn to it and curious to find out what's going on. And what I found was there is a media channel called Republic News, which is headed by Arnab Goswami, who's the editor-in-chief of the channel. And he has had this business for about, I think, 10 years plus. He has, of course, got a fan following, and he's a fantastic guy in terms of debates. He's known for it. But at the same time, he took up one specific case, and he's mostly into political journalism. But this particular case was not to do with political journalism directly. It was to do with suicide of film star Sushant Singh Rajput, and also a couple of other cases which were, kind of pointing fingers towards the Maharashtra government. And he kind of was fighting for the public of India. And in that whole tussle, he was taken to jail by the Maharashtra government. And when that happened, the morning that it happened, it was quite a scandal, because the news was all full of it, of course, and the information was that he was forced to go into the jail. And so the huge support came from the public towards him, and that was, of course, done. But at the same time, his own team was so supportive all through, the entire journey of him going into jail and coming out of it. And that itself brought in a lot of emotions, a lot of, you could really see the people who were behind the scenes working, coming in front and talking about Arnab and talking about him as a leader, what he has been, what he's done for them. And these are the times really when you see the true leadership, right? You see the outcome of a true leadership. And that was very intense, very heartwarming to see how his team is responding to his leadership. And when he was released and when he was brought back into, into his studio I think it was around 11:30, 12 in the night, the welcome that he got from his entire team, which was all on television, it was all live because of course it's a media company, everything was live, and you could see the emotions that people had towards him as a leader. And it was like a father figure, who had left them and now come back, and he was like celebrated as a hero, basically, right? So why am I telling you this story? Because see, each of us, of course, are leaders in our own spaces. We are all working in different organizations, and we have people who report into us, who look up to us in many ways. And I'm sure a lot of you are really doing the best that you can to ensure that your teams get the best support. But I just want to, kind of remind you, because this is something which sometimes we forget. And that's the reason these questions come to our mind as to how do we ensure our teams follow us. So the answer to this is basically in 5 steps, okay? So the first step is coming with a serving mindset. As a leader, you don't take the position of a leader unless and until you really come with a serving mindset. I think this should probably be a clause to take a position. You need to have that, right? The other thing is, if you believe in fighting for your team and their rights, right, you should be a leader. Third is, I feel, if your actions can show what you speak, if your actions can show what you speak, then you are a leader. If you're ready to go on the ground and do the work with your teams, that's the fourth one. And the fifth one is, if you are ready to work for their success before yours. So just remember these 5 simple steps. And if you can follow these 5 simple steps, trust me, you cannot be going wrong, right? So if you come with a serving mindset, if you believe in fighting for your team and their rights, if your actions show what you speak, if you are ready to go on the ground and do the work with your teams, and fifth would be to work for their success before yours. In my experience of working with amazing leaders and obviously, reporting into some very amazing leaders as well, these are the 5 steps that I've always learned. And I've felt that if you follow these steps, you don't have to worry about your team following you. The team will definitely follow you. Yeah. So, because the only challenge is that a few of us really will follow this, even after I have mentioned this to you. It's what we've observed is, as per a study, it was seen that only 4% of the leaders actually work on such principles. And that is why only those people really see the results that they want to see, right? And they want to really have with the teams. See, in my experience of helping many leaders cross, a few of these belief systems which stop them basically to become this kind of a leader where the teams are ready to do anything for them, has shown me that if we follow this particular system, it can bring amazing clarity, confidence, and complete fulfillment as a leader to you. Why? Because you work with your heart. You don't just work with your brain. Yeah. And when you work with your heart, you always feel good about yourself, and you always feel good about your entire team. Yeah. So basically, when you work in our process, when we work together, it's just a simple process, but we need you to have that mindset to work on that process. Yeah. And if you work on that simple system, your team will definitely follow you, and consistently. Okay. You will have your team maybe waiting for you to give your instructions, and to work on them rather than you pushing them to do the tasks. So if you can remember, a general in the army, how his team really is so passionate about the leader. The minute the leader comes in, they, give a salute and they're like up and about and they're like ready to take action to whatever the general has to say. Yeah. So that's the kind of relationship we're talking about. If you can really have that, it's going to be amazing for you and your teams. And of course, you will have no problem in your production and your, in your achievement of your goals, because your teams are going to be responding to you and they trust you. Yeah. So if you're in the game to turn this table around and wake up every morning where you have a team which adores you and gives you the trust that you always wanted, and you have a great relationship with each of these team members day in and day out, and you would like to implement this kind of a system in your business, then I would love to have you to book a call with me. There's a link, there would be a button or a link right below this video, and you can just click on that. This is a complimentary session I'm offering you. So in this session, we will basically work with you to find out what's your vision and your goal and what you want to achieve. And we'll also work with you to remove any roadblocks, any things that are stopping you to achieve that goal. And we will together create a step-by-step system and a plan. If you follow this, you will be able to achieve that goal that you want. So before I end, I just want to tell you that even if you haven't been able to have such a team or such a relationship with your team, so it's not really your fault. Maybe you didn't know this process, and which is fine, but it is your responsibility now to make a change, to change the circumstances, and we can help you, but we can only help you if you take that first step, yeah, which is of booking a call with us, and you can do that by clicking on the button right below. So I look forward to hearing from you soon and working with you. You take care and have a lovely day.